I'm telling this story at the risk of sounding crazy, but here goes nothing. I'm a paramedic in a busy city. I'm typically one of 2 paramedics on the overnight shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. About 2 weeks ago, I went to a call for a cardiac arrest. It was my understanding that the patient in question was already dead. My job is to obviously attempt to make them undead and, if salvageable, bring them to the hospital for care. Upon arrival at the apartment building, I meet with firefighter EMTs and 2 police officers. As I walk up to the front door, there is a man sitting in a patio chair smoking a cigarette. He was wearing a sleeveless shirt, and his eyes looked blank. Like the lights are on, and nobody is home. Kind of stare people give you when they first wake up out of a deep sleep. I just assumed he was a drug addict or something. I nodded and didn't say anything to him because I don't give patient information out to bystanders. He looks at me and says, Hey, I remember you. Is he all right up there?" I got a bad feeling about the man. I don't know how to explain it. I am very desensitized to the sick and dead people, and I typically don't feel emotion anymore when dealing with things like death and sickness or injury. But this man just gave me a bad, dark feeling. I didn't think much about it, and I go upstairs to the 3rd floor apartment. I see the same exact man upstairs with rigor and lividity at the end of a bed in a small bedroom. Obviously dead. He was at the foot of a twin-sized mattress on his knees with blood around his feet and appeared to have some injury to the back of his head. I confirm he is dead medically and leave my DOA, dead on arrival, with the officer and go downstairs to notify who I assume is his twin brother or something, because nobody else is on scene besides his neighbor who found him. The man isn't there anymore. I asked the neighbor where the man went and if he has a twin, and the neighbor has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. And no man was outside smoking a cigarette. They had no idea what I was talking about.
Working at Food City in Mesa, Arizona was both mundane and chaotic. As a part-time employee, I had seen my fair share of strange occurrences within the store's walls. But, nothing could have prepared me for the series of events that took place one fateful day. It was a typical afternoon shift, and I was tasked with organizing the freezer section. As I was stacking boxes of frozen goods, I noticed a dark shadow moving swiftly across the back door. Curiosity got the best of me, and I ran outside to catch a glimpse of the mysterious figure. But, to my surprise, there was no one there. The pallets I had left outside completely blocked any possible escape route. I quickly called my manager to check if any other employee was in the back room with me, but the answer was a resounding no. I couldn't shake off the unnerving feeling that lingered in my mind for the rest of the day. As closing time approached, I was assigned to tidy up the aisles. That's when I saw her, a lady walking awkwardly towards me. But before she could reach me, she made a sharp left turn and disappeared into the shelves. I was frozen in fear and quickly made my way out of there, not daring to look back. I decided to call it a day and left the store in a hurry. Little did I know, my coworker had an even scarier encounter that day. He was upstairs checking on the stereo system for the music when he saw a little girl sitting on top of it. Without wasting a second, he ran out of there and never went back up again. Needless to say, the both of us were spooked beyond belief. We couldn't explain what we saw or experienced that day at Food City. But one thing was for sure. None of us wanted to be alone in that store ever again. And as I walked out of the store, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets were hidden within those walls.
When I was a teen in the 80s, I was sent to a girls' school for wayward youth. I came from a turbulent upbringing and had run away several times with wild kids. The home I was sent to consisted of a creepy old mansion located in the middle of an orange grove in Mesa, Arizona. I was confined to this old house with several other girls who had pissed off their parents to some extent. We attended local schools and were required to walk from the old house through the orange groves, about 1 mile to catch the bus at 6 a.m., while it was still dark. There were migrant workers in the fields, but what I saw in those pre-dawn hours was something extremely different, and it still haunts me to this day. It happened on a typical school day while walking through the orange groves on a very dark morning. I entered into the trees walking down a dirt road. As I got deeper into the groves, I saw huge, circular colored lights that were spinning. To my knowledge, it was definitely a UFO. The circular object kept spinning through the trees, and I was literally scared to death. The colored lights spun through the trees. I was gobsmacked. I stood in the dark witnessing the entity spin through the trees. I refocused my eyes and saw a migrant worker standing nearby. He didn't look as if he'd seen anything. It must have been just a couple of minutes that I saw the entity. As fast as it appeared, it suddenly disappeared. Right before my eyes. It was my one and only sighting with what I believe to be an entity, or UFO. Today, I definitely believe in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs.